Hi everybody, it's Rosa again. It's a new day. So yesterday I was kind of sloppy. I didn't do what I had planned, right? I had planned on doing the LinkedIn rebranding and finally getting that handsome guy ready for launching. But what happened was something was just off. Couldn't get it right. And it didn't feel good. So instead of doing that, I played board games with my son. He's really smart, so of course I lost every game. It's still fun. I always recommend that kind of bonding because even if you're a parent and you lose, you're still making a memory of that loss and of his win. So he's able, or they're able, I have 3 kids, they're able to still enjoy it because they still had time with you. And it's not something that's like a video game, it's actually like a board game. Like, it's just fun. It's just fun. I always recommend that. People should always have couples and people. I think that is how you really make memories and you bond. That and movies. Plain blank period. Anyways, so I woke up this morning and I was like really frustrated because I was just like so scared, right, of marketing this piece, right? The story that Clyde had built was super, super emotional and super personal. And I was like, I don't know if I could do this, right? It was just so emotional and so focused on mental health and stuff. And I'm like, I just don't think I want to do this. And for a moment there, I was like thinking of scrapping the whole idea because I'm like, this isn't going to work. This is silly. I need to start over. But here's the thing, right? You don't need to start over. You need to rebrand before you launch if you need to rebrand. And that's the benefit of AI, right? The benefit of AI is that it's able to, you put it in, put the image in, and it's able to help you figure out your branding and who your buyer is. Most important thing you have to remember, if you're using ads, you need to make sure that you tell Clyde or whatever software you're using to find a brand that is cold traffic because you're not using warm traffic. You don't know these people. And you want to make sure and you're promoting your product to cold traffic correctly because it has to build trust and it has to build engagement. They don't know you and you need them to know you before they can buy. So you need to make sure that the branding you're choosing and the message you're putting can reach them and tell them click buy. You know, that might sound kind of advanced, but when you put it into the AI system, it gets you consistently. It understands that you don't want to have to, you want it to be an impulse buy for your buyer. That's what you want. You don't want them to have to think too hard about it and be like, maybe I'll come back next time. Which is okay. I mean, you build a list and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That's okay. But the point of this guy is that he sells. You know what I mean? I want the pieces to sell. And so in order for him to sell, I need to connect with my buyer. And the first buyer is just not going to work no more. I mean, I was so close to scrapping the whole idea until I realized, my problem is not the actual pieces. It's the buyer that I was trying to aim at for that moment in time. So now I have to rebuild everything. I got to rebuild the website and I have to recalibrate. I don't have to change the actual pieces or anything like that. I just had to rebuild the branding. And I've struggled with branding a lot because with keeping their table, the first branding was for the past and it got good engagement but didn't get any sales. And I felt like it was too specific. And then the second rebranding, not too specific, too trust focused, where it was I had to have high trust in order to trust me to do the piece. And because it was trying to be cold traffic, it would have taken a long time, right, to get that trust. And then I did the same name, but more so focused on a semi-custom business model for the present. And that one, too, required a little bit of trust. And I still haven't figured out how to frame it because I was too connected to the other version. And then I look at the other version and I realize, okay, keeping their table is still focused on the past and it fits better for funeral homes and funeral directors. which is why I was using it on LinkedIn. But I really want to promote this guy because food hasn't been selling for me. And I don't want to put tons of energy into what's not selling. What the evidence is, this guy, not that one, haha, this guy sells. My face is sold. I literally had one behind me that was a while ago and it sold recently. You know what I mean? So they sell, so I have to follow the curve. Changing my mind was hard, and not doing a lot of things is hard. But now it's about finding a new buyer and making sure that this new buyer can respond to cold traffic, cold ads for one, and everything. And that's the benefit of the job shippers like videos. I always recommend y'all watch those because they really do help you figure out how to market with intent. Yes, they're drop shippers, but they still have the keen eye of creating, I don't know what the word is, creating action, and getting those things out there. Yes, they do. There are some stinky ones that use other people's content and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. It's your stuff, You're not selling like a shaver. You're not selling those kind of things. You're selling your stuff, and you have to just reach your buyer and talk to your buyer through your stuff. But the elements of what those videos show and how they show it, they show how to get, the research you need and how to figure out who to market to and how to build your accounts and how to build those ads up. It's super helpful. Don't doubt it. Just because it's not your niche and not your industry, don't doubt how they built theirs up, because these people make millions of dollars, like thousands of dollars a day, with the same kind of ROIs that we do. You know what I mean? Like the same investments, the same cost per acquisition. I mean, they have the numbers. They make it similar. The only difference is they're drop shipping and we're shipping. So take their advice and take their guidance and stuff. If I can remember one of them, I'll make a short about it, but I can't remember any guys right now. But there's a lot, and it's helpful. It's really, really helpful if you follow those leads and you take their advice. People say starving artists all the time. You don't have to tell people you're a starving artist. You can help people. You're an entrepreneur. You're an e-commerce business. You can tell people whatever the mess you want to. Either way, we're artists, period. So, hey, that we're artists to ourselves, and we artists to other people if they want us to think that way. Anyways, so the plan is to rebuild the website because now I'm going to change the buyer. I put in my Clyde that the current buyer is just too much, too deep. I don't feel comfortable marketing that on Facebook, and I want to change it. And now I'm about to rebuild and stuff like that because the current brand that I was about to promote, about to build onto, was super emotional. And I just, no. I need something that's not so emotional, but still has the emotional hook. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I still wanted to connect to my buyer and to people, but I don't want my buyer to feel like I'm trying to fix them, basically. You know what I mean? And I want it just to be relaxed. These pieces are already deeply oh my God, those eyes coming. And I still can't get the dog eyes to work on. Oh, so frustrated that I can't get dog eyes to work. I have a feeling that I'm going to probably do. So I'm probably going to have Midjourney create a bunch of dog eyes on a paper, on a whole abstract thing of dog eyes. And I'm going to just practice with that, which would be hilarious and funny. But hey, maybe you'll get me to practice because I don't know. I just can't. I don't. Cat eyes I was able to figure out, but the dog eyes, I don't know. Beautiful eyes these dogs have, and I just can't draw them. Literally, I was going to publish. I was planning on doing the commissions, right? The pet commissions, and publishing them on Facebook groups, right? That was the plan for the weekend. But now I'm thinking, I really want to make a fish. So if you see a fish behind me, that's why. Fishing is really popular in our state, in Arkansas. That's fishing, hunting, hiking. That's what we're known for. Do I fish? No. But like literally I live next to 2 lakes, so I could. And I have a fishing license too, but nope, I don't fish. Either way, I'm thinking about making something big. I'm going to probably go through DeepSeek and figure out what kind of style I want. I think marketing to locals, I'm sorry, marketing to locals, I got to make sure it still resonates with them, especially Arkansas. It can't just be something that's scroll stopping and that's beautiful. It has to be something that's scroll stopping and action worthy so that they act. And you don't just say, oh, that's pretty. We don't want them to say that. I want them to say, that's pretty, mine. I want that. Like, give it to me. Take my money. You know? And so that's, like, going to be the focus. I'm going to rebrand him. I'll let you know a new name for the subcategory, hopefully. And then I will make a huge fish. I'm thinking 16 by 20. I might film myself doing some of it. I don't know what part, though. Maybe I'll film myself doing the ASMR stuff, the wiping and the blending and stuff like that. Or the lightning of it. It really depends. I gotta do some prompts. I've thought about doing big fish before, like a big bass, and I have like a really, really, really nice, what is it called, reference image that I've thought about putting onto eBay. But I think when I was thinking about it, I was debating if it was too flashy. And it still might be. I don't know. Will I make that one? Will I make something else? I really don't know. But I've thought about it before. I think there was one time when I actually did make one. And I made it and it was really small. And I tried it over a couple times because I didn't like how it looked. It just wasn't looking right. But I think that was because of my lighting. See, it's all about the lighting, yo. The lighting. If your lighting is wrong, even in like a situation where I'm using devices to help me get the colors right, if your lighting around you is incorrect, your eyes mess up. And I'm super photosensitive. So if the lighting is wrong, the pieces just doesn't connect to me. Doesn't connect to me. I'm not gonna let other people see it. I mean, come on, it's my stuff. I want them to like it, you know? But yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna have some fun today, making a new branding and figuring out who his actual buyer is that I want to connect with, and we're gonna have some fun, right? It's gonna be a good day, y'all, like always, right? So some words of encouragement. Your buyer is out there. Sometimes you have to hunt a little bit harder. I really, really, really recommend you use AI technology to help you find your buyer because it's much easier and trying to figure it out on your own. It has the technology. Use the advice. Use the books. Use the knowledge it already has so that you're not hurting yourself trying to figure it out. Because we as artists, we connect differently. We connect to the processes of making our art. We don't necessarily think about who's buying the art. So the simple act of putting an image into a software and saying, can you suggest how to promote this? Who is my buyer for cold traffic on ... whatever, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest? Who is my buyer? And give me some options on how do I reach that buyer. Doing that is so important because then you're able to create your whole business around that one buyer, or maybe two, they're similar, but one buyer, and connect with that person and not doubt your connection. And then you'll be able to really see your art in a different way versus just the process of making your art. So use technology. I'm not saying you have to use AI images or anything like that. I'm saying use technology to build your marketing and to create that so that you're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs hoping someone finds your stuff. Connect to your buyers. And then when you connect to them, say, buy my stuff. And just sit quietly. Tell them, please buy it. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.